Today I'm cutting dovetails. Stick around, I'll show you my method on cutting dovetails. We are going to say, I'm gonna try this. We need to say, let's go pins. We'll go tails. Okay. So if I go tails, I need to, we'll just do this end right here. There it went. This is the thickness. We're gonna go here. Not as many knots, if you know what I mean. Now, tails go all the way around. They get marked all the way around. All the way around. I just wonder. All right, that's tails. All right, now this, that will be the thickness of the pins, if you know what I mean. They just get marked on front and back. But let's say that's representing the outs. I write tails and I write pins, that's the outside. So basically they'll go like this. This is the outside. You need to mark the outsides. Also, you need to mark the top. So the top, we're gonna put a 2/8 right there. That'll be where that is. But now on the tails, on the inside, tape, this is a little thicker than that blue tape. I forget now exactly how much. But what it's gonna do, I'm gonna be able to put a little groove right there to reference off of whenever I get ready to transfer the tails to the pin board. I found 4 of these is what we're looking for. And what that'll do, you'll see here in a minute exactly what we're referencing. But the thing about it is, we're going to take that same marking gauge that's going to be and we're going to try to I used to take on a router table and cut a little groove there, about a 32nd of an inch deep. But by the time I set up the router table, and it seemed to work good, but the thing about it is, this right here I'm already done. By the time I get it set up, it's already done. So that's going to work as a knife edge where I can rest her off of and slide it. You'll see that here in a minute. Well, what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you how I lay these things out. I don't have anything written in stone. However, if you want them to look the same, you want them to look sane, you kind of, I use a set of dividers. When you put them in the vise, the outside always comes to you. You'll find it. That works. So what we're gonna do, what I usually like to do, what I've come up with is 3/16 on the half pence. See, if I've got a quarter here, half pence eighth, it just never was enough, it seemed like to me. So I've settled on 3/16, looks good to me. If you know what I mean. It just looks better. So I come off these edges, 3/16, and it'll come down to, I'll tell you something else we might want to do. We might need to mark these right here so we can see them better. Yeah, you can see them some over that there. It's not going to be a problem. So outside, always to you. All right. And these dividers are so, if you have a set of drawers, they'll all be similar. And this sets for the 3/16. Now here's where we got to decide just exactly. You want something that's appealing to you. 3 tails. That would be 2 half pins and 2, 1, 2, that'd be 2 pins. Let's shoot for that. So if you got 3 tails, so that'd be 1, 2, well, that's the gap that you would have, which is way too big. But when you shorten this up, it's ×3 is what you're actually moving. So let's see what that looks like. 1, 2, ooh, look at there. So I need to come just a tick more. That's my opinion. All right, see the distance right there? That is the thickness of the pins. So we're ready to start marking. I'm happy with that. You need to put me a tick right there, that way I can, easier for me, these little eyes see it, you know what I'm saying? All right, so what we need to do now is mark this off. Now, whenever you're marking here, you line this part up with that line and you mark up. All right, you flop it right around and you go the other way. So in essence, what you've got here, these are your tails. Those will be your pins, if you know what I mean. So you need something for your knife to, or your saw to follow. Okay, so what we're taking out of this piece, being this is the tails, that's a tail, that's a tail, that's a tail. But this right here is what goes away. It's going to be cut out of this piece. This will be cut out. Okay. So what we do now, we take our saw. Okay, here we go. Tell you what let's do. Let's get over here a little further in. It won't vibrate so much. All right. You start with these fine teeth on that line. Okay. There you go. I usually cut the same angles, then I come back and cut the other angles. And I ain't switching back and forth. It just helps me out to do it that way. All right, you want to follow that? And it's tightened up on me, hasn't it? Okay, here we go. You ready? Might have went too far down on that one. If you're not dead on the line, I'll show you here in just a second, it don't really matter. Because we're going to transfer these actual kerf lines to the pin board. Get some of this. Come up with a routine that's filming this stuff. All right, so what I'm going to do here, you remember how I marked off the other way so we can see it better? I'm going to do the same thing here. My eyes are getting where. See that knife line? Okay. But, all right, pin. All right, outside, top. It's going to lay here. Outside and top. So what I need to do now is bring this up to where it's right even with that plane blade. Okay. And what that does, it allows me to move the tape. It's going to rest off the back of that. We're going to slide it back and forth. So what I do now, I've got a gauge right here. This represents the saw kerf. And the way I do this thing, that represents the saw kerf. So what I do right here, so what we're going to do now, for this thing to work right, we're going to, if I went like it is now and marked it off, it would be too loose. I need to move this thing one saw kerf. So what we're going to do, if we set it like this, whenever you move it both ways, you work off the same size. We can work off this side, but as long as you do both of them the same way. So what we got here is working off that and just slide it right over against that. So what we've done, we've moved one saw kerf to the right. So what we're going to do on the pin tails, we moved it to the right, we go on the left side of each tail. what I try to do is get it laid flat down. It don't seem to blow it this front out so bad. What you want is a really good. All right, again, we're doing the left side of the tails. Okay, you see this saw curve right there? That's where your blade's going to go. So we need the other side now. So what we're going to do, we're going to put what's representing the saw curve. It goes on the bottom this time. And we'll slide right over to it, hits the square. So in essence, what we've done, we have now slid the board to the left, so we cut the right side of the tails. This is where I messed up on them dovetails. I went the wrong direction. You really got to call that out and do it right, because you see, I went to the left, so I'm doing the right. That's correct. And it's easy to get messed up on. All right, that gives you all. So basically, what we're doing now, I'm gonna lower it down a little bit. That way, it won't vibrate hardly so bad. Okay. Now we go cut, make a plumb cut straight down, but it'd be at an angle. So that curve that we're looking at right there is what we're doing. Okay. Okay, just get right in that saw curve line. Again, I go the same direction each time, then I come back and do the other. Okay, here we go. All right, now what I do, see, this is opposite of the other. This is what we're cutting out on this. So what I do, I got a frick saw that I cut these out with. On the frick saw, the front's always to you. You need to get in the habit of doing that. All the way down to the bottom. Pick it up just a little bit. All the way to the bottom. Ooh. All the way to the bottom. Pick it just a little bit. There we go. So what I try to do, I get me a board to beat on so I can keep the chisels off of my workbench. And what I do, I go through and get everything I can get. If everything's all right, So you can sit right down there and make a new one now. But once I'm comfortable, this is good, I'll cut that out and finish it. Here we go. I left a lot to pare off. The closer you can get that frick saw, well, I got a lot to do here, so we'll get started. It works better on this soft pine. We'll try to get in there and get what was left. And again, the outside of the box is this way. That's what you want to see. You don't want to blow anything out. You want to go inside. Here. Okay. Okay. Well, all right then. So what we can do, see, we're a little bit blowed out, but it's on the inside, it's not going to be so noticeable. So remember, on this side, we're going to take, I'll tell you what we could do. We could go ahead and pull this off right now. On the ends, it's a vertical cut that gets cut right here. Take it a chisel. What I can do, it kind of gives me a knife line right there. Place and guide my saw. Okay. And what I need to do, well, I think that's pretty good. Any of that debris and all will keep your joint from going together. So make sure you get it off. And I'm just wondering, did y'all see any of that? Oh, did y'all see any of that? Oh yeah. Okay. Any debris needs to come out of there. And the hardwood, I don't have the debris like. You know, get them a little frayed out. I'm gonna try to get it a little closer in. I ain't got so much to pare out. On the bottom, back up just a little bit. There it goes. Now, we can get right here and pair that out pretty quick. And that would be right over there. So let's pair this out. I got a little closer to the line. That's gonna be a little bit close. Let's see here. All right. Feel that knife blade. All right, feel that when it goes in. And what I like to do, I'm at this angle so I know I'm straight up this way. Cause that's kind of important. All right. Come loose and got wedged in there. Once you get it out, it's fine. That don't look bad at all. Yeah, I think we got it. So what I try to do, so we got the pins right here and then the tails. All right, so what I try to do, it'll go just like it right there. But what I can do is help it a little bit on the inside. We can taper this. That'll make it go in a little easier. It'll help line up as you go. Again, this is on the inside. You won't be able to see this. Okay. Well, I'm gonna get this tape, but we're done with it. Okay, so get her together. Yeah, there it goes. Let's see. Okay. So that's the way I do dovetails. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna put it in the vise here. We'll plane this thing down. I know it's not glued up, but we'll see if we can't get them scratches and what have you off of there. So that is before any glue. So that's the way I do dovetails. There's all kinds of ways of doing dovetails. However, over my years, I've actually tried all kinds of different ways, but this is the method right here that I can get more consistent. The thing about it is, the more you practice, the better you get. And I do dovetails not that often. I should do them more. But if I did them every day, naturally I'd get really good at it and be super fast. But this is, because I don't do them every day, you know, this method right here, I prefer, because what happens is a beginner can come near getting a good set of dovetails. And where I got this is Rob Cosman. Y'all to check him out. He's a dovetail guy. And it just works for me. Once you find how much to move it over to get that curve of the blade, and you'll dial in how tight them dovetails are. If you don't do that in this method, they'll be so loose. And for the wood glue today's, them surfaces gotta be there. It can't be a bunch of gaps. So that's the way I do them. I hope y'all learned something here. It's just a quick way to, every once in a while I'll get where I'll just do a set, just stay in practice, if you know what I mean. Cause I tell you what, you got contrasting wood. I'm gonna do this method here one of these days, and if I got some offcuts, let's say some maple and walnut, it makes a real pretty joint. It does. And it's strong too. This thing it doesn't have any glue on it. You know, I just stuck it together, planed it down. And the thing about it is, if you got your board dimension right, I do to be square, if you know what I mean. So, you know, that's the way I do it. There's all kinds of ways to do it. I'm not saying that is the way for you, but if I was you, I'd give her a try, if you know what I mean. That is a good way of doing it. So, hope y'all enjoyed it. Hope you learned something, and I will catch you on the next one.